we want to look at a numerical example on how to calculate different labor force market indicators. So consider this example where we have a working age population of 1,000 people, the number of people unemployed are 200, and the number of people employed are 300. Now, our different labor market indicators are given as follows. The labor force we know is made up of everyone willing to work, regardless of whether they have a job or not. So it's the employed plus the unemployed. So in this case, that means that it's 300 plus 200 is equal to 500. Now, the labor force participation rate is a fact is the labor force expressed as a fraction of the working age population. In this case, our labor force as calculated is 500. Our working age population is 1,000. So the labor force participation rate is 500 divided by 1,000 into 100 is 50%. Now, if you want to calculate the unemployment rate, it's the unemployed expressed as a fraction of the labor force. So it's the unemployed 200 divided by labor force, which is 500 times 100, so it's 40%. Now consider a case where 70 workers are unable to find a job for a while. So as a result, they become discouraged and stop looking for work altogether. So these discouraged workers are no longer considered as part of the labor force because to be unemployed, you should not just not have a job, but you should be actively looking for work as well. So when you stop looking for work, you are no longer classified as unemployed, but rather you're no longer part of the labor force. So in this case, the number of people unemployed goes down from 200 to 130 because of the 70 discouraged workers. So the labor force also goes down, where now when we do like employed 300 plus unemployed, which is given to us as unemployed, which is given to us as 130. So the labor force decreases from 500 to 430. So the labor force participation rate will also go down as well. The denominator, the working age population is still the same. The numerator, which is the labor force, has gone down. So the labor force participation rate is now 430 and not 500 divided by 1,000 into 100. So it goes down from 50% to 43%. Unemployment rate now, for the unemployment rate, we see that the numerator and denominator both go down. As now, instead of 200 unemployed, we have 130 unemployed. And instead of a labor force of 500, we have a labor force of 430. So both the numerator and denominator, when calculating the unemployment rate, decreases. And overall, we see the unemployment rate decreases from 40% to 30.23%. So what we see in this example is how, depending on the cause of change, a lower unemployment rate is not necessarily a good thing, as it may be because some discouraged workers just stop looking for work altogether, which is also going to cause your labor force participation rate to decrease as well. So we need to understand the unemployment rate in the context of other labor market indicators like the labor force participation rate in order to get a full picture.